Hey there. In today's video, we are looking at one of the biggest questions that I'm seeing online today, and that is, what type of content should I make for my customer education program? And there are a lot of opinions on this. So some teams have very distinct separations between curriculum development professionals, marketing asset creation teams, and sales enablement teams. Others have very little or no separation in these roles. So some organizations are also just getting started and might be overwhelmed by thinking that all of those things require independent teams and dedicated resources and things like that. But whether you're looking to create product training or skills or industry training or produce demos or TikTok content, I've outlined a simple way to plan that content, scale that content production in a way that's going to educate your audience and support the needs of your customer education or product marketing teams. Now, you are likely familiar with designing courses and training or certifications focused on product features or key skills that your customers are going to need. And when designing those programs or that content, most customer education teams often think about personas or the role that a customer may have as they use a product, which is going to impact, of course, what they're going to want to learn and what they're going to need to learn. Think features like admins and users and things like that. But recently, I've begun expanding my view of customer education in the formats that we create, produce, and distribute beyond courses, beyond certifications. And there are so many experiences that we can create as customer education professionals that do not necessarily align with that traditional or existing persona that's been developed in course planning. So, as the role of customer education expands in the channels through which our content is repurposed, I've begun to add the stages of the customer journey or the customer awareness stages into the mix. And as more of our content is being used to educate potential customers or partners who aren't yet a daily user of our products, I've had to reimagine how we understand and frame what they need to know or what they might want to know. So in addition to traditional task-based or role-based breakdowns, I've started aligning content or at least planning content by the awareness levels of our learners. So in this video, we're going to use the 5 stages of customer awareness actually to scale our customer education content. And what I've found is that with this framework, I can actually take one topic, or one lesson concept, and I can scale that into right around 75 pieces of educational material for products and for courses with my clients. And so, as your content starts to expand beyond your courses and your LMSs and those curriculum pieces, you really have a lot of opportunity to help build those relationships with prospects long before they become customers. You have the opportunity to help position the brand as, a really trustworthy source of information and assistance for that particular industry or solution. And then you can even pre-position or help pre-position the product as the logical solution to your customers' problems. So essentially there are 5 levels or 5 stages of customer awareness. And they really have different meanings for us as customer educators or customer education pros and how we think about and plan content in this framework. So first, you have the lowest level of awareness, which is unaware, right? And these customers do not know they have a problem, and they do not know that a solution to that problem exists. They are completely unaware. The next phase is at some point, they become aware of the problem. And they've learned that they have this problem, but they are still challenged because they do not know any solutions. And again, this is probably a vast oversimplification of this, but just for the illustration here in this framework. At some point, they become solution aware, and they now know that they have a problem, and they know that solutions exist. But it may not be your solution. It may not be our solution, right? Our product. And so there's an opportunity for us to help them merge into product aware. And so our customers are past the problem. They're past the need for solutions. They found a bunch. They're now aware of our product, right? But we need to take them and help them work through all the noise to find out that we are the solution to their problem, right? And we're the best solution for that problem. And then ultimately we move them to the most aware phase. And for lack of a better word, this is where they purchase, right? This is where they're purchasing from us. Or I also like to think about this is where they are, almost an ambassador for our product. They're having a lot of success with our product. And so they know it in and out, and they are recommending it to others and all of those things, right? So they've gone from, I don't know, we have a problem at all, through, I found this solution, it's amazing, and it's doing all these things. Let me tell you about it, right? So that advocate role is really, really pretty sharp. And so with these 5 stages, we have essentially a new lens that we can start to create content, and we can start to plan and explore new learning opportunities for our product and for relevant skills and all sorts of things that benefit our customers or our partners or our prospects, however you want to frame that. And so let's just kind of look here. So if they're at the first stage, they are still unaware, our goal is to help them get to the next stage, right? So we're going to be looking at things that educate them on the problem and the challenges that exist. We need them to think there is a problem, and they need to address it, right, in their business. Once we get through that, we can then educate them on, what that problem is and causes of the problem. So, maybe this is root cause of the problem. And the impacts of that problem, right? And we need to point to solutions, right? But it is to really help focus our content around specific workflows and strategies and tools or resources or frameworks that they can use to overcome their problems, right? And so there's a variety of tools, there's a variety of workflows, there's a variety of people that they could use or might need, but we're going to educate them on how to achieve that solution. And then once they are aware of that solution, now we're going to take them into the product lane. And now we're going to start to talk about things like key features, differentiators of our product in others. We're going to look at unique value propositions, and other product related items, right? And so we're going to get that. And then as we get them most aware, this is really where I like to think about us as onboarding and skilling into really, really high-performing, successful users in our world, right? And I think traditionally, customer education has been implemented here, which has really cut off our ability to start to inform and help educate and create way upstream, right? So we actually want to be up here and work through that entire journey of awareness, right? So now let's get tactical and look at the main types of content that we can create for each one of these stages. For nearly every industry, for every product, everything really, there's essentially 3 streams of content that we can start to lean on, right? And so first is going to be industry-related content. And this is going to be the trends. This is going to be core challenges. This will be thought leadership. And really other industry-related items. We also have the stream that is truly product related, right? So this is going to be tutorials and demos and, specific features. I like to call that buttonology. I learned that from a friend, buttonology type things. But then, it could also be success stories. It could be product comparisons. It could be different, analogies, things like that. You name it, really. Anything product related, product stream. And then you could also focus on skills content, right? And so this is where I like to kind of place use cases. It's where I like to think about workflows and, kind of custom problem solving, things like that, critical thinking. And really, we could just bucket that as adjacent skills. So for someone to be successful with our product, there's a really good chance that there are not things that you have to be good at just in our solution, but There's adjacent skills that surround that ecosystem of our products and services. And so we could also help customers in that way as well, so they're more successful with what we do. Now let's talk about the methods that we can then use to deliver this type of information, right? And, not reinventing anything here, but there's some pretty obvious buckets, right? First is we have written word. We also have images and graphics, infographics, charts, one-sheets, job aids, things like that. Then we've also got video, which I put here two different ways. We have long-form content and we have short-form content, right? And then finally, we have audio-only content. So I'm a strong supporter of looking to meet our customers or our learners where they're at with the types of content that's going to be useful and helpful for them, not just what seems fancy or what seems, to be in trend this month or this quarter, right? And so really, it's quite possible that you could take a single topic, from any of these buckets, right? And you could run it through all 5 content types, right? And so if we use this approach, we could take a single topic relevant to our customers, so one topic, and we could frame that topic from all 5 stages. So we could create different derivatives of that content based on the stage. Then, as we look at what it means for unaware, problem aware, solution aware, and so on, as we look at those things, for each one of those lanes, we're then going to create content out of each of these content streams, right? So we're going to not only do unaware, but we're going to look at industry. We're going to do something based on our product. We're going to do something based on our skills. So now we're up to 15 unique pieces of content from stages through the 3 streams. Then if we take those 15 pieces of content and we run that through our distribution methods, 15 times 5, and we're taking that content and creating graphics and creating written documents and help support, and we're doing short form, long form, or audio, we end up with 75 unique pieces of content from a single topic that we can now go and put out into the market to help educate and move our customers through those stages of awareness and really become, just really ultra successful folks with our products. So as the role of customer education continues to expand, right, and our teams need more consistent quality content, I think now more than ever, across all channels, right, outside of courses and outside of certifications, where really customer education is expanding into all those different avenues. I encourage you to try this format, try this framework, and see if this helps you meet your customers where they're at, or maybe helps you engage with marketing teams, or helps you engage with customer success teams in new ways, and really reframe your content catalog or plan the next wave of content for the year through the lens of where customers are at in the journey, and take that view beyond traditional roles or persona-based models that maybe you've used in the past. So with this framework, I really think that you can take almost every topic or every challenge that your customers have, you run that through the model and say, let's do this topic based on stage, let's do it based on industry, skill, and product, and then let's create all the different formats of this topic based on how valuable it is for customers. Let's create all 5. And you now have 75 pieces of a pretty vast content library for everything that you're going to need to educate. So anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more content like this, framework, strategies, and guides for customer education, I encourage you to subscribe and get the latest from myself and the Think Through team as we continue our mission of helping brands build training that their customers love. So I'm Matt Tidwell. Thanks for staying with me, and hopefully this was helpful. Let me know in the comments. Happy to answer any questions. See ya.